Have you ever seen on your Facebook Messenger that there's people that send you messages like, hey, I'm going live, or they have automated messages for a challenge? So everything that's automated on that messenger inside of Facebook, that is a messenger bot. So I'm so happy right now because Elka here, she joined us today. She's starting to use ManyChat and doing chatbots with us, and we created the whole sequence, and it's super cool. So why doing chatbots? Before, we used to use emails, right? Everything was email marketing, and we used to send a lot of emails to people, but the reality is that right now, the open rate for an email is around 15 to 30%. If you have a really warm audience that everybody loves you, you might get a 50% open rate, but that's like a lot, all right? While the open rate for a messenger bot is like 70 to 80 to even 90%. It's insane because you get the notifications on your phone, and people are just going through their messages on the messenger bot, on the Facebook Messenger. So it's really easy to get people to engage with your bot. And another thing is that emails are like, people know that they're part of a list, and they know that you're sending the same email to everybody. And to respond to an email is kind of not very personal, right? While the messenger, it feels like having a conversation with someone. And when you write that sequence for your chatbot, you have to make it as personal as possible. Make them feel like they're actually talking to a person, right? It's not about like tricking people into thinking they're talking to a real person when they're not. It's about having a conversation with them, because let's say that you have a process that you get your clients, right? And you ask always the same questions to those clients to pre-frame them and to really know that they're your ideal client. Instead of doing that in person, that takes forever, you can do that through a chatbot. Just create that conversation, ask those questions, and get those answers so that when they actually come to you in person, then they're already pre-framed, they're already qualified to be your ideal client, right? So what is an example of the things that we can do with the chatbot? Let's say we have an opt-in page, right? And Elka, please don't get mad because you don't have an opt-in page. This is just a way to get people into that chatbot, all right? There's so many ways, and this is an example. So let's say that you have a webinar, that you are running a live masterclass next Thursday, right? So you have an opt-in page for that webinar, where you ask people, you say, hey, I'm running a live masterclass that will solve this problem for you. I'm going to show you how to 1, 2, 3, all right? You're going to reveal 3 secrets. So in this opt-in page, if they're your ideal client, depending on the headline, then they're going to give you their email, right? And then on the next page, let's say you're going to have a super nice video that says, hey, thank you so much for booking your live masterclass, for joining me live, and to make sure that you do this, this, and this before the live masterclass. And you tell them, if you want to get notifications so you don't forget the masterclass, click on the button below, right? So we have this button right here. And that button starts a conversation on your messenger bot, all right? So as soon as they click this button, it starts a conversation. So that link inside of that button, you can put it anywhere. Like, you can put it in your Facebook, you can put it in Instagram, you can put it in LinkedIn, wherever you want. You can put a simple link that connects that button to your ManyChat sequence, all right? So in this case, we tell them, hey, awesome, thank you for joining the masterclass. And we give them, for example, a link to your Facebook group inside of the chatbot. We tell them, awesome, you already have your ticket for that live masterclass. Don't forget to join the group. Don't forget to join the community. So we can have this conversation however you want, right? If your end goal is to sell them something, so you can have that conversation saying, hey, awesome, you already joined that live masterclass. We have other products for you. Why don't you jump on a one-to-one call with me, or things like that. You can use this conversation as you want, right? So what we do normally with a webinar is having that conversation and saying, hey, go and join the group, right? So it takes them from ManyChat into the group, okay? So you can have different conversations. So let's go through what Elka is doing. I really like that. So instead of having an opt-in, right, this is just one way to get people into that ManyChat. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you what you can do with that. Like, why is it so important to get people into that ManyChat? So let's keep talking for a second about the webinar. So let's say Thursday comes, right? And usually for webinars, you send pre-webinar emails. You send around 5 emails, keeping them warm between the moment they opt in until the moment of the live class, right? But again, people don't open those emails. 20% might open it, but it's not enough. And most people forget. Like, I only check my email about once a week. That's it, just once a week. So, or once a day, sorry. So if I get any email saying, hey, we're going live in 1 hour, I'm probably going to miss that because I only check my email in the morning and that's it. I don't even have notifications for my emails. While Messenger, it pops up. So when the time comes for the webinar, you're going to send them a message on Chatbot. You're also going to do it by email, but you're going to send a quick message saying, hey, we're going live, here's the link. And that little message will increase the show up rate on your webinar like crazy. All right, now let's talk about what Elka is doing. The whole goal about what we're doing with her is growing that list. It's not an email list, it's actually a messenger bot list. And the cool part is that we're doing both things at the same time. Through ManyChat, we are acquiring people's emails. All right, so we're building that bot list and we're also building that email list. So Elka has a super pretty cool PDF that attracts her ideal client. She's giving meditations to them and it's a beautiful PDF. And cool detail about this project is that she has it in English and in Dutch because she lives in Belgium, all right? So we have the PDF. And we want to get it to people. And we also want to get people to a Facebook group, all right? Facebook group. All right, so what do? We created a conversation that starts with just pressing a link. So she does a live session on Facebook, she posts on her Instagram, whatever she does, she's driving traffic to that messenger conversation, right? So let's say this is a Facebook post, if these things right. This is a normal post, and there's 2 ways. You can either put a link, or you can say, hey, comment below with the word PDF, and when people comment that word, you can start that conversation. So let's say you put a link. As soon as people click on it, it comes here to a message that says, hey, what's up? Thank you so much for requesting the PDF. Thank you so much for your interest. And you subscribe them to the bot, okay? As soon as they get here, you subscribe them to the bot. That is the most important thing, all right? So we have a full conversation with them. We ask them, hey, would you like the meditations in English? Would you like the meditations in Dutch? So the cool thing is that, let's say we have here English, and you can do this not only with language, but you can do it with other things. Like you can ask them, for example, in Peak, we have a sequence where we ask them, hey, would you like to learn to do it yourself, or would you like us to do it for you? So depending on that answer, we tag them with something specific, right? So now when they're tagged, you can have a specific conversation that interests that person. So from now on, she's going to start talking in English to them, the ones that have these tags, and to them, she's going to start talking in Dutch. So same with our sequence. Those who said, hey, I want to learn it myself, we're going to start sending them online courses and free videos and all these kind of resources that we have so that they can do it themselves. The ones that answered, hey, I want you to do it for me, then we're going to start nurturing that conversation so that they jump on a call with us and they become our client for a one-to-one package, right? All right, so when we start this conversation, at some point we send them to the PDF, and at some point we send them to the Facebook group, right? So that's the initial conversation we can have. And we can have like super long conversations that ask a lot of questions like, hey, what's your revenue, right? So you can give them different options. For example, you can say it's 0 to 20K, from 20K to 50K. And depending on what they answer, you can give them other sequences. You can start a new sequence. So that is the initial way that you can get people into your messenger bot. Just think about it as a conversation that you always have with your new potential clients. How can you automate that and make it as cool as possible for them, all right? So let me give you another example that we're doing with another client. So Elysium, she's doing a challenge, all right? It's a 5-day challenge, really cool. So we said, well, we've tested this a lot. People engage more with a challenge if they are on the chatbot rather than on just an email list, all right? So for her, again, we start with a link, all right? We don't have an opt-in page, nothing. It's just a link that drives directly to that ManyChat sequence, right? So it says, hey, if you're interested in that challenge, let me know, click the link here, right? When they click the link, it takes them to a ManyChat sequence that asks them, hey, if you're okay, so we always have to have that consent from them to send them messages. So we ask them, first thing we ask them is, hey, thank you so much for your interest in the challenge. Please confirm that you're okay with us sending you messages through Messenger, right? Messages and cool resources and all these kind of cool things, right? So they say yes, okay? The next message that we send them is an introduction, like a day 0. And it's sent immediately. They say yes, start with day 0. So she tells them what they need to get ready to start that challenge, right? Like, for example, the challenge takes place in the Facebook group. So the first thing that they need to do is go to the Facebook group, right? And then we have a sequence, or I think it's called a flow, maybe? It's called a flow inside of ManyChat. So day 1, we have this that sends 1 day later. So there's a rule. We send it 1 day later between 8 a.m. and 12 noon, all right? Because we don't want them to start a challenge at 11 p.m. That would be crazy. So we say, okay, send this message next day between 8 a.m. and 12 noon, all right? And they get a message saying, hey, today's day 1 of the challenge. We're going to talk about this, this, and this. And it takes them back to the Facebook group to watch that video of the challenge. Same thing. Day 2, they get a message on their phone saying, hey, it's day 2 of the challenge. Go and watch the video. So it takes them back to the Facebook group. So it goes on like this for 5 days. They get a challenge. Every day they get a video where they have an outcome, all right? What happens after the 5th day? After the 5th day, people already know you, already like you, already trust you because they've been watching your videos. They've been learning from you. So the next day, let's say on day 6, we make an offer, all right? So we say, hey, you already went through this challenge. You already got some results. Why don't we jump on a call? Because I can help you one-to-one, right? She's a coach, so she can do sell a package, a one-to-one package. So we start having that conversation on day 6. And then on day, let's say 10, we send them another reminder of that offer, all right? So does that make sense? I know my doodles are kind of disorganized right now, but this is another sequence that we have with one of our clients, and she just texted me like 3 days ago, and she told me, it's unbelievable how engaged people are with the challenge. And it's because they're getting reminders every single day about that challenge. They're getting a notification on their phone like, hey, it's day 3 of the challenge, go and watch it. Because normally people forget that they're doing a challenge. Or they see an email and they're like, ugh, I don't want to do this. But through Messenger, they feel that it's more personal. So people take more action, right? So that is another example of what we're doing. And one of the coolest things that you can do, once people are already on your bot list, you already brought them in through a link, through your comments on Facebook, however you got them in, you just have them in that list. Now, what are you going to do with them? Let's say you go live on your page every single week. If you follow the organic strategy that we did on chapter 2, then you'll see that you need to have at least 1 video on your page per week, right? Because we need to build that audience with the pixel. So what we can do is, let's say you're going live on a Thursday at 10 a.m. We can send a broadcast to everyone on your bot list saying, hey, I'm about to go live, right? I'm about to go live, here's the link. And you send them from that conversation into your Facebook page. So again, what that will do is it will increase the chances for people to show up to your Facebook Live and engage, right? And the cool thing is that if they show up live, they get pixeled. Remember? They get pixeled, and then you can retarget them with your Facebook ads. So LK is asking, is it a separate Facebook group, especially for the challenge? It depends on your goal. If it's a paid challenge, yes, you need a specific Facebook group for that challenge. If it's a free challenge, I would just do it in your normal Facebook group because that will increase the engagement, all right? So for every free challenge, just do it in your Facebook group. That's awesome. It will, people that didn't even opt in will watch it, so it will just increase the conversions, all right? So this is how we use Chatbot for just in general, nurture that audience and increase that engagement with your audience. And it works amazingly. People engage a lot more with the bot than with an email. You get a lot more chances of people just replying to you on a messenger bot than on an email. Nobody replies to emails. While messenger, they reply, and it's really funny because you send it to them and they're like, oh, thank you. Even that thank you, it's an engagement, and it makes people feel like they are talking one-to-one, right? So that is it for now for our chatbot training.